Have you ever sat in your car after a long day of work, staring at the steering wheel, and felt an invisible weight crushing your chest? It is not just tiredness. It is the exhaustion of carrying everyone else's expectations. You are constantly running through a mental checklist. Am I making enough money? Does my boss respect me? What did my friend mean by that passive-aggressive comment? Am I becoming a failure? By the time you hit your 30s, life becomes a non-stop performance. You are acting for your family, your peers, your neighbors, and even strangers on social media. You have been conditioned to care about absolutely everything, to optimize every single corner of your existence. But here is the brutal truth that nobody tells you. This hyper-care is a trap. It is a slow, silent poison that steals your sleep, ruins your health, and keeps you trapped in a prison where other people are the guards. But imagine just for a moment, what would happen if you simply stopped caring? Not in a lazy, destructive way, but in a deeply strategic, liberating way. What if you chose to look at the endless demands of the world, the opinions of others, and the pressure to be perfect, and softly said to yourself, I don't care. This is not a recipe for giving up on life. It is the ultimate superpower. When you stop giving away your energy to things that do not matter, something radical shifts. The invisible cage breaks open. In this video, we are going to explore the life-altering magic of radical indifference and how learning to detach from the opinions of others will give you the deepest relief you have ever felt. Make sure you stay with me until the very end, because what I am going to reveal in the later sections will completely flip your understanding of reality on its head. You cannot afford to miss it. To understand how we got so trapped, we have to look at the illusions society sold us. From the moment you are young, you are taught that your value is tied to external approval. You are told that a good life means collecting badges of honor, a prestigious title, a flawless reputation, a certain lifestyle. We become obsessed with managing how the world perceives us. You micromanage your words, your clothes, your choices, all to fit into a mold that was built by someone else. But let's be honest, who are you actually trying to impress? Most of the people whose opinions you fear are too busy drowning in their own insecurities to truly care about your life. They are looking at themselves in the mirror, wondering what you think of them. We spend money we do not have, to buy things we do not need, to impress people we do not even like. It is a ridiculous game, and the only way to win a ridiculous game is to step off the board entirely. When you constantly care about what others think, you give them remote control over your emotions. If they praise you, you feel high. If they criticize you, or worse, ignore you, you crash into anxiety. You become a leaf blown around by the changing winds of public opinion. This is a terrifying way to live. It keeps your nervous system in a constant state of fight or flight. You become rigid, cautious, and profoundly unhappy. Stick around, because what you are about to hear in the next part will shock you. We are going to introduce a mindset used by history's most radical minds that will show you exactly how much power you have been giving away. The relief you are looking for does not come from achieving a state where everyone likes you. That is impossible. True relief comes when you realize that whether people like you or hate you has almost nothing to do with you, and everything to do with their own internal filters. When you accept this, the need to control their narrative dissolves. You stop carrying rocks that do not belong to your mountain. A man who understood this better than almost anyone in history was the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche looked at the society of his time and saw a world full of people who were terrified of being their true selves. He saw individuals blending into what he called the herd, a collective mass of people who live by safe, mediocre rules because they are too afraid of the judgment of their neighbors. Nietzsche famously wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself." Think about that phrase, the privilege of owning yourself. Most people do not own themselves. They are rented out to the opinions of their boss, their social circle, or their family traditions. Nietzsche realized that to become a truly fulfilled human being, you have to undergo a massive internal rebellion. You have to stop caring about the moral report cards given to you by the herd. Nietzsche talked about a concept called the Übermensch, or the Overman. This isn't a superhero with physical powers. It is a person who has mastered their own mind. An Overman is someone who creates their own values, determines their own direction, and is completely immune to the praise or mockery of the crowd. When you don't care about the herd's validation, you gain a terrifying amount of freedom. You become unshakable because your foundation is built inside your own soul, not on the shifting sands of what is currently trendy or socially acceptable. Keep watching closely, because the practical trick I am about to share next will show you exactly how to apply this philosophy to your daily routine starting today. Applying this to modern life requires a massive shift in how you allocate your attention. Think of your mind like a bank account. Every morning, you wake up with a limited amount of currency. Let's call it your attention budget. Every time you worry about a strange look from a coworker, a text message left unread, or an old friend who seems to be doing better than you on paper, you are spending your currency. You are giving away your valuable life force to things that offer zero return on investment. By the evening, your account is overdrawn. You feel bankrupt, empty, and irritable. This is why you feel so stuck. You don't have the energy to build your own business, improve your health, or connect deeply with your loved ones because you spent all your gold on the opinions of people who don't matter. When you adopt a mindset of strategic indifference, you start guarding your wallet. You look at a toxic comment or an unrealistic societal expectation, and you decide, this is not worth my currency. You actively choose to let it go. This doesn't mean you become a cold, heartless robot. It means you choose your battles with extreme precision. You care deeply about your character, your personal growth, and the handful of people who genuinely love and support you. Everything else, the noise, the gossip, the cultural pressures, the constant demands to look a certain way, gets met with a calm shrug of the shoulders. Do not click away just yet, because the next section will reveal a psychological paradox about social attraction that completely defies common sense. Let's look at how this changes your day-to-day reality. Imagine walking into a meeting room at work. Usually your brain is running a background program. Do I look smart? Did I phrase that correctly? I hope they don't think my idea is stupid. This mental chatter creates physical tension. Your throat tightens, your posture stiffens, and you hold back your best thoughts. Now imagine walking into that same room completely detached from the outcome. You still do your job well, but you do not care whether they think you are a genius or an idiot. You are just there, present, and relaxed. Suddenly, your mind clears. Because you aren't wasting energy on self-defense, you speak with clarity, you laugh more easily, you become charismatic, not because you are trying to be, but because you are the only person in the room who isn't suffocating under the weight of self-consciousness. The same thing happens in your personal relationships. When you stop caring about maintaining a perfect image, you stop wearing masks. You admit when you don't know something. You say no to events you don't want to attend without giving a long, fabricated excuse. You stop apologizing for simply existing. Ironically, when you stop caring about making people like you, they often become drawn to you. People are subconsciously attracted to authenticity because it is so incredibly rare. In a world full of people wearing fake smiles and reading from social scripts, a man who is completely comfortable in his own skin stands out like a beacon of light. Your indifference becomes magnetic. Pay very close attention to what is coming next, because we are about to look at an ancient thought experiment that will instantly put all of your deepest fears into perspective. Nietzsche offered a beautiful, brutal framework for testing whether you are living a life that is truly yours. He called it the concept of amor fati, the love of one's fate. He challenged people to ask themselves this question: if a demon crept up to you tonight and told you that you would have to live your exact life over and over again for eternity, down to every joy, every sorrow, and every mundane moment, would you fall to the ground and curse him, or would you celebrate it? If your current life is built entirely on trying to please others, the idea of living it on a loop for eternity sounds like hell. It means you are repeating a script that you didn't even write. Nietzsche wrote, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it." To love your fate, you have to be the author of it. You cannot love a life that is micromanaged by the fears of what your neighbors think. When you choose to stop caring about their judgments, you finally take the pen into your own hands. You accept your flaws, your mistakes, your weird interests, and your unique path. You look at your life with all its chaotic turns and you say, "This is mine and I love it exactly as it is." Don't leave yet, because the final rules we are about to cover will give you 3 immediate actionable tools to implement this freedom tonight. To make this practical, you need to understand that letting go of care is a muscle. It is not an overnight transformation. It is a daily habit of catching yourself in the act of people-pleasing. Here are 3 simple shifts you can start practicing today to build your indifference muscle. First, embrace the discomfort of being misunderstood. When you start making choices for yourself, some people will not like it. They might think you are being distant, selfish, or strange. Let them gossip. Let them have their opinions. Your peace of mind is worth far more than their temporary comfort. Remind yourself that their opinion of you is a reflection of their reality, not yours. Second, eliminate the need to explain yourself. If you don't want to go out, say, "I can't make it tonight." You do not need to invent a complex story about a sick relative or an overwhelming workload just to justify your boundaries. A simple statement is enough. When you explain your choices excessively, you are secretly asking for their permission. Stop asking for permission to live your life. Third, look at your life through the lens of time. 10 years from now, will it matter that you made a small mistake during a presentation? 100 years from now, when everyone who knows your name is gone, will it matter what car you drove or how many people thought you were successful? In the grand scheme of the universe, our lives are a tiny, beautiful blink of an eye. Realizing your own insignificance isn't depressing. It is incredibly freeing. It means your mistakes are small, your worries are trivial, and the stage you are performing on is completely empty. There is no audience. There is only you. The simplicity we are all looking for is waiting on the other side of your willingness to let go. The anxiety that keeps you up at night is not caused by the world being too loud. It is caused by your refusal to turn down the volume of other people's voices inside your head. You do not need to fix everything. You do not need to save everyone. You do not need to prove your worth to a single soul on this planet. You are already here, breathing, experiencing reality. That is enough. When you finally drop the heavy, exhausting armor of trying to control how the world sees you, your shoulders will drop. Your breath will deepen. For the first time in years, you will look around and realize that the world didn't fall apart just because you stopped caring about its demands. In fact, it finally started making sense. If this message hit home for you, it means you are ready to drop the weight. You are ready to reclaim your currency, step away from the herd, and live on your own terms. Take a look at your life right now. What is one thing you are stressing over that simply does not matter? What is an opinion you are carrying that isn't yours? Drop it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And if you want to keep diving deeper into mastering your mind and breaking free from these invisible traps, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. The next video is going to push this conversation even further, and you won't want to miss it. Until then, take a deep breath, close your eyes for a second, and remember, it is completely okay to just not care. Keep going, and I will see you in the next video.